what you're doing with all of that at the end of the day is building an asset. You're building a brand asset that is worth more in the end than at any time during the business building phase. As you build up that asset like a home and you put the bricks on and you build the walls, and 2, 3, 5 years down the road, you have a saleable asset. All the value you pumped into it is going to continue to grow year over year until you have an opportunity to potentially sell it, right? And that's what we call the platinum principle. And that is really understanding that the foundation of a physical product business and a brand creates a saleable asset. If you're just a pure coach, pure trainer, pure whatever, what happens if you get hurt? What happens if you can't work? What happens if you can't coach anymore? What about these things, right? It's hard for you to coach at 3 a.m. in the morning and still get to sleep. With the physical product business, it's turning over 24/7, 365. So it creates revenue streams and cash flow and opportunity to expand yourself and your brand out. You might even find you can sell things that are not related to the coaching and healthcare space. You might say, well, what if I could sell a toaster, Neil? What if I could sell a kitchen countertop device? What if I could sell something in the yard? You could literally discover that as long as it's profitable, you could sell and put anything in a box. And once you understand how to do that, obviously the sky opens up and there's an infinite amount of possibilities and upside potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. I'm your host, Omar Cumberbatch of OmarCumberbatch.com. As always, appreciate you joining in and listening to all the new and good stuff in the health coaching space. And today we have an amazing guest. His name is Neil Twa, and I think after over 200 guests on the Health Coach Academy podcast, this one's going to be really a standout episode, not only because Neil presents his information so well, but also we have not spoken about this particular subject yet. It's about e-commerce, and yeah, it really was inspiring. I don't want to get too much into it because it's a concept that I've always thought about, but the way Neil just breaks it down, I'll let him do all the justice to it because it was really an exciting show and very inspiring. I have a lot of ideas, and I would love for you guys to reach out to me and share what you thought, because I think that it's going to open up a lot of eyes for the health coaching business and just another avenue that we can get an additional revenue stream in our businesses that to keep this baby afloat. And I did promise it at the end of the show is that Neil is gracious enough to give us a free copy of his book with the discount code HEALTHCOACH. That information will be in the show notes as well. But yeah, definitely take advantage of that. I know I am in the process of it being mailed to me as we speak, and I can't wait to dive into that, take a look at that, read, get more inspiration, and kind of figure out the game plan around it. So I don't want to hold this up anymore. So we're going to jump into the show. But before that, as always, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. It helps me continuously get excellent guests like Neil Twa on the show, along with all the other 200 and more guests who've been honored by myself and totally excited to have on the show. So do that for us and let's jump into it. Hey Neil, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Omar. Thanks, brother.
Listen, I'm so excited about this topic. I've had over 200 guests and we have never spoke about this particular topic.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I want to just jump into it. I want to hear your origin story, how you got into this space, and a little bit about what you help people do.
Cool. Well, yeah, origin story. That's funny because my kids love Marvel. So now I'm thinking, well, I'm not the villain in this story. So in my origin story, I turned into somebody's hero, I think. I don't know. We'll find out later in life. But yeah, it's going
to be mine.
Don't worry. Somebody's hero, somebody's villain. That's the way life works, right? In simple terms, I've been around the internet since it first, came in, and maybe if you're close to my age, you kind of know where that all transitioned back in the mid 90s or so, 95, 94, when the internet was coming online, Windows 95 was coming out. It's like, oh my gosh, what is all this stuff? And I was failing out of college anyway. So I'm like, now let's do something different. I didn't want to be in college. And so I bumped out and started learning programming, HTML, and then I learned ASP servers and database driven pages and stuff, and got good enough that I was able to get a contracting job in Kansas City at a little company called Sprint. They were a long distance company at that point, had nothing to do with mobile. And they had rounded up about 2 years into that work. They had rounded up a bunch of people and said, hey, we're going to start launching mobile phones. And I'm like, ooh, a startup, because that happened somewhere around 97, 99. And in that time frame, I had the opportunity to apply and became an employee, a badged employee into the first mobile division of Sprint. and got to be on board with helping to launch the first mobile phones into Sprint. And then we watched that company absolutely explode during that startup phase between 99 and 2004. It just exploded. I got my first cell phone number that I still have today during that time frame, and just watched that market go like insane. And because I was in the leadership role of overseeing the knowledge and management, and my team was overseeing all the web pages that became these knowledge management systems as these grew out, I got pretty good and pretty skilled at it just being on the job. Figured out really quickly it's who you know that gets you in, what you know that keeps you there. And so I'd stay up sometimes late just trying to figure out how to make this thing work. But I had an aptitude for it, so it made it a little easier to kind of figure it out, which eventually led me into a job with IBM. It actually took me longer to fly to Armonk through White Plains to actually go to the job than it took to actually get the job when I was there. They had kind of pre-scheduled and the interview and whatnot. And so it took me all that time to get out there, and 20 minutes in the interview and shaking hands, welcome to IBM. And I'm like, wow, this is fun, because I had no degree. I had experience, I had, tenacity, I had the desire to just go out and do the things people weren't willing to do. And so I brought some of that into IBM, and I think that's maybe why they hired me. But I spent almost 5 years there. In 2007, I kind of had a life-changing situation as I kind of discovered some issues, let's say, in my marriage. But prior to that, I had also had my mentor, who was my uncle. Had passed away in 2005, and he'd always been encouraged me to get out. You could stay in the corporate for a while, but do something, go buy a franchise, build a business. You have the aptitude, get out there. And he always really encouraged me. It was awesome. But I lost him in a plane crash in 2005. And after that, it took me a couple of years to kind of figure out what I was going to do without him around to kind of help guide me and figure out what to do. And eventually I just said, okay, I'm out of here. So I burned the boats. IBM's like, well, here's your early retirement. Go have a fun life. I'm like, cool. Didn't burn the bridges, just the boats, meaning I was never going to go back to that life ever. I didn't really want to be there in the first place, but I used it as just a stepping stone along the way to get to ultimately what I wanted to do, which was run my own business. And spent the better part of those last 18 years pivoting, failing up, failing down into different areas until I finally landed where I feel my sweet spot is. And in about 2012, which was physical product-based businesses, actually launching brands, creating physical products, and providing them into the market. And have done that now a better part of 12 years. We got to our first 7-figure brand in around 2015. And then it just seemed it was a lot easier to do it after that. And I have had the opportunity and blessing to coach and mentor more than 1,000 people since then. Had some amazing experience, created some great brands. They're still building some great brands, have some that are getting close to going to exit. And I got a room full of failures behind me as I've pivoted through all of that experience, but really found my sweet spot is in building those brands and marketing them and building up that collateral. And that's led me even now into business investing, where we're both acquiring companies that are growing up in the physical product space and exiting those as well. And doing it with a specific purpose for that. We have a group called Patriot Growth Capital, which is a private equity group that we are with. That is doing it to support the veteran community, military, and to help them have an opportunity for veterans to get into our business and to be into an operational and employment status, even into a position after 5 years to acquire the company away from us. So we have a real purpose and mission there, to go and bring purpose and value to that community, and maybe take it, knock off some of the 22 veterans a day that kill themselves and provide purpose and value in the lives of veterans and their families. And we're doing that through the acquisition and management of physical private label companies. So we train and we build and we incubate, we grow, launch, and exit and buy. That's kind of what we're all about now.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a great origin story. That's also a great why story and why this now. So I'm really happy for you, and obviously a blessing to all. It is that you're coaching.
Yeah, it's been a lifestyle by design. It's something that we worked on. It's a goal orientation. We kind of have an idea, I think, in our minds of what our perfect lives would look like or what we would like to do, and it isn't always about the money. Money's part of it. It's part of my 5 Fs. I have 5 Fs I follow now. I used to only have one, which was just profits. And I ended up failing in a business and going bankrupt. So that's not the right way to do it. But I had, a value change in all of that, which I think ties to some of the conversation that we were having before the call, which was really just towards those who want to build private label brands and what's the value of it and why would I do it versus, say, consulting or just pure, mentoring or consulting or training or coaching. And where would be the value in something like that versus what I'm doing now? Because I've had a lot of those questions in my past too. And when I got into the physical product world after doing digital marketing, I'm like, well, why, what is the end value of having a physical product to my brand? And the end value really became that I own the whole business model. I own it from the marketing through the physical product. I own everything in between as well. And when I didn't have that control before, other people had that control. And one of the things you clearly need in a business is as much control over the business as you can have.
Yeah.
And when I didn't own the actual product, I didn't own the outcome. And with that, I needed to control and own the product and realize that physical products needed to be part of my brand. It extolled the value of what I was teaching and talking about and doing, and supported an end customer with something tangible, right? So I got both the digital and the tangible aspect of that outcome, and provided value and solution to them, making them maybe run faster, jump higher, lose weight, gain weight, whatever the end output was. It brought a cohesive nature to the full control of my business, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. So, like, what I want to really get at for this episode is just because of health coaches, primarily one-on-one coaching, group coaching. We're coaches, right? At the end of the day, and I know that you work with a lot of different coaches in the health space as well as life coach, etc. Like, what are these products that are relatable to us that we can use, and give a little bit of background of what you've seen and experienced?
Well, yeah, I mean, in simple terms, there was a business we helped once to bring some of their offline products to the online world, because they were in the health space in a shop. They were specifically in the spa space, and they were using and recommending other people's products, but had no control over the product. Some of it was affiliate, some of it was wholesale, some of it was just recommendation. And with that, again, they didn't control the output of the product or the control of the product, and they didn't have a brand aspect around the product. They had their brand recommending somebody else's product. That makes sense?
Yeah, more so, on affiliate marketing.
It really got down to just kind of affiliate and recommendation. But again, you don't own the product. You just own the middle section of it, right? Which is kind of what you say and what you do and what you recommend. With this, we helped them develop a brand. We helped them develop a product line that they could then put on their shelves and then sell local retail, but also sell it online. And it was a brand that was created for them, right? And having owned a supplement company in the past, having done work in the health and beauty space, having done skincare and other types of brand support, what you get down to in the coaching and health world is there's a lot of different kinds of products that if you kind of stop and think about it, you recommend them or employ somebody to go get them, or you affiliate them, or you say, go down to GNC and grab this product. It'll help with this routine or this workout we're doing. And what you could do instead was say, go to my website or go to my Amazon storefront and grab this product, grab this stack, add this all to your cart. Check this out. This is going to be part of the product set we're going to use for your workout routine, for your next 6 months, for your goal orientation. This is the stuff you're going to be using. Well, what if instead of it being somebody else's product, it was all yours?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, like, as a health coach who's just starting out, what do you think is like the proper way to go about that? Right? Do they?
Yeah.
They don't have many, say, followers. They don't have like.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Just fine. Yeah, because what happens is we use a system on Amazon called Fulfilled by Amazon. You know it, or the people listening know it, because you probably order on the Amazon app and it shows up in like 2 hours, or a lockbox, or of 1 hour, or pretty soon by drone, apparently, right? And if you do that, then you sort of have the concept in mind of where I'm going with this. This Fulfilled by Amazon system, or FBA, is just a juggernaut, a machine of movement of products down to the customer, us, right? And it moves and flows, and you have the opportunity to buy stuff or return stuff, or you understand, and most people do, the ecosystem. Since it's the now 6th largest logistics company in the world, we use their last mile, their framework, their delivery to get the products to the customers. And we start a brand and we incubate it on Amazon to determine its market share, its potential, its profitability, how many people want to get access to it. And there's like 200 million Prime members, which I am. I'm sure you are. My wife orders stuff 2 to 3 times a week. It shows up at our house from Amazon. And a lot of people do too, right? And so with that, there's what everybody goes to Amazon to do is to order or buy something that they need or want or have seen somewhere else, and are going to Amazon because they know it's going to show up, right? There's a lot of Facebook ads and stuff like this. You click on it and you're like, well, I don't know if I put that credit card in there, is that company actually going to deliver my product? And most of the time you might try it and be like, well, yeah, it did show up. Okay, that's legit. Or you might look at it and say, I'm going to go to Amazon and grab one of those, or see if it's on Amazon and test it out anyways. But a lot of you might have been nodding your head thinking, yeah, this is something I've done too, right? Because it's like this in so many words. Once upon a time, the yellow pages were where people trusted the business, right? Then when we got into the internet, it became brochure websites to find out if you're a legitimate company. And if you're now in the physical product world, you need an Amazon presence because it validates that you're a legitimate company selling product. And with 49% of the market share in the United States, it's an absolute juggernaut now of $638 billion a year in sales. What most people don't understand is that 62% by Amazon's own admission of those products are sold by third-party sellers like us. So while you're selling through Amazon, you have the opportunity to buy products through that mechanism, not realizing that they're being delivered by other sellers. They're just using Amazon's infrastructure. What that does is it creates what I call almost automated income. It creates money while you sleep. All right. Money while you're working out of the gym, money while I'm out walking or you're running. It creates money when you are not having to push on it anymore. So as you build these brands and grow, this whole ecosystem of the marketplace is churning organically through these products at about 8,600 units a minute. So with 8,600 units a minute, you don't have to be an influencer with a large following or a tribe. You can actually leverage Amazon's customer base to get your products to those people and do it into 5, 6, 7, 8 figures. So once you have that marketplace and understanding, then you can move to different sales channels, like maybe a TikTok or an Instagram or somewhere else where you might want to build up an influencer and you might want to build up your profile and recommend the products that you're selling on Amazon or one of those other stores and create an omni-channel or a multi-channel marketing opportunity for your brand. What you're doing with all of that at the end of the day is building an asset. You're building a brand asset that is worth more in the end than at any time during the business building phase. As you build up that asset like a home and you put the bricks on and you build the walls in 2, 3, 5 years down the road, you have a saleable asset. All the value you pumped into it is going to continue to grow year over year until you have an opportunity to potentially sell it, right? And that's what we call the platinum principle. And that is really understanding that the foundation of a physical product business and a brand creates a saleable asset. If you're just a pure coach, pure trainer, pure whatever, what happens if you get hurt? What happens if you can't work? What happens if you can't coach anymore? What about these things, right? It's hard for you to coach at 3 a.m. in the morning and still get to sleep.
Right.
With a physical product business, it's turning over 24/7, 365. So it creates revenue streams and cash flow and opportunity to expand yourself and your brand out. You might even find you can sell things that are not related to the coaching and healthcare space. You might say, well, what if I could sell a toaster, Neil? What if I could sell a kitchen countertop device? What if I could sell something in the yard? You could literally discover that as long as it's profitable, you could sell and put anything in a box. And once you understand how to do that, obviously the sky opens up and there's an infinite amount of possibilities and upside potential.
I guess, I'm listening to it. It sounds great. And I guess my stumbling block in my head, and I think maybe this will help with the audience as well, is getting past the fact that, all right, so I want to have a supplement.
What the heck do I sell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do I sell?
It's the first question that comes to everybody's mind, dude. What the heck do I sell? What the bleep do I sell? Yeah. What if it didn't matter?
That's even better because I'm like notorious. This show, I hate the niching down thing. Like,
yeah.
I love talking about aliens. I want to talk about health. I want to talk
100%, dude. What if I could what if there was just a list of products that are the highest in demand customer need products for Amazon, making up all of their revenue? And what if there was just a list of them you could pop in and look and see whether or not they're profitable and then just determine which one you thought you wanted to launch because it is profitable, and then you go test the market and find out how much of it you can sell, right? What if that was available to you? Then you would understand a little bit better about the fact that what the heck do you sell is a conditional statement of training, of knowledge, of seeing data, and not actually making an emotional decision on what you should sell, but a tactical, fundamental, and business-based decision that is built off data and numbers. And going by the numbers ensures that if you sell a unit of that product, you're going to do it profitably. And when you sell a profitable unit of that product and you understand that playbook and the process by which you did that you can repeat that process until you're selling 100 a day or more, right?
Yeah.
And that is just a process of knowledge and learning and earning as you launch products to test that go by the numbers of business and profitability. And that is kind of understanding some of the fundamentals of the business and ensuring your profitability. So, for example, you wouldn't sell on the marketplace of Amazon or even anywhere else, in my opinion, products that are less than $50 in price point. Okay, $50 to $500 in retail price point are the kind of products we sell. And in those numbers, that makes sure that we're selling more than $12 in net profit per unit. Everything goes in the top, cost of goods, marketing, everything falls in. What falls out of the net is what you keep. And that is our net profit. And that is what we get to keep out of each sale of the product. And the higher the net profit, the more money we make, right? So I prefer products that are making me like 30, 40, 50 or more dollars in profit per unit. So we'll sell products $150 to $400 in price point for the kind of products we sell in our brands, just to give you some bandwidth. Now, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of those products in the marketplace. So it's a process of conditioning and going through numbers and understanding how to analyze the product to determine that as you do that, it starts to look better and that you have an opportunity to sell that product. So when it comes down to what kind of product you would sell, that's just a process by which you look at the market, do the research, look at the green blinky lights and yellow lights and red lights. And when it goes green, you follow the green path, because it's a data-driven decision. And we're not going to order like a 40-foot container and say, we can sell this product. We're not smart enough to tell the market what it wants. But what we are smart enough is to look at 80% of the data confidently and then take it to market and get that 20% back, right? So I launch a product that has 100 units and I say, hey, do you like this version of the product? And the market says, sure, but about 5 sales a day. Okay, let me see if I can make that better. A little tweaking. Okay, I'm up to 10 sales a day. Not bad. Then I notice, oh, what if I sell this version of it? Maybe it's the extra large black version, not the extra large yellow version. And oh, wow, there's 50 sales a day. I'm closer to what the market wants, but I tested it. I didn't just guess. I'm testing on the data that says, hey, these are the top products that the customer needs demand. Here are 100 units of each of those products. And then I'm going to let the law of averages kick in.
Okay.
A law of averages in my 5x5 is to launch 5 of those products, looking to see if I can get 25 organic sales a day from those top products and determining which of those 5 variations is making the most sales. So I'm not guessing, right?
Right. So, and again, like you said, we will be the ones owning this product, whatever it is, correct?
You own the product because it is a customized product. It's not a white label product. It's not wholesaling somebody. It's not flipping somebody else's product for profit. It is creating value in a brand. And there, by that simple word customization, you're having that product made for you in a manufacturer that is your product within your brand, within your trademark, which is called intellectual property. Mm-hmm. At that, you have intrinsic value in your company now, right? From the company, you now are building up a brand with intrinsic value.
Right. So, okay, I'm throwing out the idea. You gave me a price range. So I'm thinking, just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Treadmill. Right? Treadmill.
Could be a treadmill. Could be one of the walking treadmills, like the smaller ones, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I see that a lot recently. Is they're getting hot.
Oh yeah.
We get the Omar's treadmill.
Yep.
Someone is building that treadmill somewhere.
Correct. Yep.
Once someone orders it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question that I get you probably is the number 2 question that you get a lot.
Well, clarification on that statement just yet.
Sure.
You're going to order some units of that product and you're going to have it shipped into Amazon, and then people are going to start ordering it. But you're going to look to see how fast do I sell through 100 units of that. So as an inventory-based business model, not a drop shipping model, which just as a clarification on kind of what you said, we're not drop shipping products. We're having them manufactured and acquiring them, and then we're selling them in the market.
Okay, so that being said, so that's even a great point. I guess I'm gotta write it down to make sure I go back.
No worries.
I want to talk.
Not drop shipping. Amazon and drop shipping are not a part of the terms of service.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. So why are they going to buy my treadmill as opposed to all
branding? Right? It's just branding is the word we're looking for, but it's not the most simple answer. But it does get down to the psychology of a buyer.
Okay.
So let me reverse this and ask you a question, if I can.
Sure.
When you think about a brand of equipment, is there a particular brand that just immediately comes to mind that you have a certain level of value in your brain with? And what is it?
Bowflex.
Bowflex. Now, why Bowflex?
The commercials. I've seen it for like 25 years. I'm very
okay.
I've bought some product from them.
There's sort of an intrinsic idea of trust built into the Bowflex.
Yeah.
Is there a cheaper version of that product in the market?
Yes.
So why would you buy the Bowflex versus the cheaper version in the market?
I don't know if that cheaper version is going to break.
So then let's reverse that question back to you. Why would somebody buy my product and value in the market versus somebody else's? Right?
Oh yeah. No.
There's an intrinsic belief that it is a better value product than another version of the product I can get. Now, what brings that together in a brand is how we present the product to the market. And more importantly, how we present the product to the engine. Now, everything online runs on an economic engine with AI tied to it. semantic engines, searches, how you see and look at videos and how many more they show. So if you watch one video for longer than 6 seconds on pretty much any platform now, it's going to show you more of similar kinds of videos as it tailors content to you. These sales engines, these merchant engines like Amazon and stuff, they're all doing the same thing. They're getting even smarter and smarter with AI, building large language models and using AI to create more customer intent opportunities to say, well, if they know you've purchased health equipment, if they know you've purchased supplements, if they know you've purchased running shoes, then there's a customer intent behind your purchases. So they're going to start showing you products that are specific to that industry and niche around you, and not show you things that are not relevant to you.
Right.
Because it's going to be more tailored to you. And it's not even more tailored. It's intended to try to predict what it is you intend to buy before you even know it yourself. Okay. So when we get this product listing and image out there to determine whether or not there's value, I'm not actually selling it to you, Omar. I'm selling it to an AI engine. I'm selling the AI engine that I'm the better product. I'm the better narrative. I have the better value. I have the better graphics, images, and copy. Therefore, I must have the better product. Its job is to go out and look at the interest, information, intent, and data. It has everything about somebody like you and present my product to you just in time. So you go, I need that.
Right.
I trust that. I want that. And if I don't like it, I'll return it. If I really don't like it, I'll leave a negative review. Right? If I like it, but I don't really like it, I just won't review it. But if I like it and really like it, I'm going to leave a review.
Right.
Usually a positive review in that instance. So that economic engine turns that big wheel. So then as I'm presenting that value and determining my data is better than the competitors who are currently in the market, the engine is going to start showing me to more people like you, saying, hey, here's a whole nother segment of people who might want to buy your product. As people look at that and go, you're right, I do want that. Yeah, I do need that product. And yeah, I will pay for the Bowflex version and not the basic Walmart version. Mm-hmm. Then that engine is going to look at that data and say, you're the better value. And then it's going to present it to you to buy it. And you're going to click on it and hopefully buy it. And if you, in our world, if 10 people click on it and one person buys, we are highly optimized inside of this economic engine. With that, it will send it out to more and more and millions of people and say, hey, what about you guys? Do you like this too? And that, of course, will translate into more people buying our products. If I don't do a good job of presenting the product and selling the product to the engine, I don't do a good job of making the sales. And the phrase in our company is sales fixes everything. So that is the first thing we're going to solve.
Right. Wow, this is amazing. It makes total sense because again, I'm into the algorithm. They're feeding me what they know what
and
I
you're
want.
Consuming it, right? Even if it's just video but not purchases, you're like, dang, I want more shark videos, or I want more workout videos, or I want more ab videos, right? And it's just showing you more and more of it, right?
Exactly. So by it showing me more and more of my product, that's how it'll just
100%. As it starts to dial in that audience and intersect between other audiences of people like you and start showing it, those are what are called impressions. Mm-hmm. And those impressions of showing it to you hopefully get you to click on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you click on it, the goal is to get you to buy. So here's the thing, though, is I'm not trying to convince you to buy. People love to buy. They don't like to be sold. And since Amazon is a demand capture platform, it's capturing the demand of people's interest. We don't try to sell them on Amazon. We simply give them 3 variables of benefit to answer 3 questions they already had in their mind before they showed up. Mm-hmm. And if we can answer those 3 questions extremely well, they will purchase our product instead of somebody else's, even at a higher price point, even $10 more than the competition.
Interesting. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Now, it all becomes an economic engine that does require eventually a product, okay, to create a median of exchange. So we just use Amazon's platform to create that median of exchange, which means I have to have a product that gets delivered to the customer that creates that value. Well, I paid for it. I want the product, right?
Right.
So that's the second thing, is to make sure that we don't just create a dummy Me Too product that tastes and looks like everything else. What we need to do is actually innovate a product with only 3 to 4 simple changes that create a unique selling position, a USP, in the value of the mind of the customer over other products, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not how complicated do I need to make this, because really I'm going to test the product first to see if people like and want to buy it from me. Sales fixes everything.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to innovate a product and say, well, if they liked 100 units and that starts selling really well, then I'm going to go get 1,000 units. I'm going to do a full product launch because I have every confidence now that I can sell it. So I'm going to get more of it purchased. And I'm going to make some changes, a little innovation, not invention, just a little innovation, and make that product just a little more unique in the market. And then I'm going to present that 1,000 back to the market, already knowing that it's sold. And I'm going to see, can I sell more of it? With more time in market, more marketing on Amazon, and Amazon's own economic engine pushing me, I'm going to see how many I can sell at that 1,000 and how fast I can turn that inventory over.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I guess the big question is how much is the investment that is required?
Capitalization, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a variable. So for people I speak to in terms of the e-com world, it is not product flipping. It is not going to be, as you heard, lower priced products, because in our world, friends don't let friends sell $20 products on Amazon. You will go broke doing that. Okay. You sell above $50 in retail on Amazon, or you're going to lose to the market. It's simply fees and cost and time and production, et cetera, are simply not going to be in your favor. Okay. So that means that the cost of goods on that product, or what we refer to as the landed cost of goods, that's a product that has to be purchased and then shipped into a position to be sold to the customer. It has to be 35% or less of the price of the product. So that means if I'm going to sell a $100 product, I can't have more than $35 in landed cost of goods for that product. So if I'm going to sell a $100 product and I need to get 100 of them in the market, it's going to cost me roughly $3,500 to put that into the market. And that test is going to be a variable. I'm going to sell that product, but my real question is, how fast am I selling that product?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to want to make sure that I sell through that product as quickly as possible. And I want to see how that data tells me how much I'm selling. And then from there, I could go out and order 1,000 of them, because I now know that I could sell that product. I can sell it at a certain pace. And my real question is, how much more can I sell of it? How fast can I do it?
Mm-hmm.
So that capitalization is going to be larger next. That's why when people want to work with us, they have to bring at least a minimum of 25K to the business to invest in the business itself. Startup activities, testing the products, and then putting more money into the products when they start to do well. Right? Mm-hmm. From there, kind of the sky is the limit, because as products sell and you find more product types that you want to sell, the business itself is going to drive you forward. And as you are 100% owner of the business, it's your determination to create whatever risk reward opportunity is most comfortable for you. Now, I'm going to push everybody's numbers, because I have seen some incredible things in 12 years of doing this, 18 years in business. And those who have a higher risk to reward ratio, meaning they're willing to risk a little bit more, knowing the reward is a lot greater on the other side, they can scale businesses in 3, 4, and 5 years to 10, 20, 50 million a year. Right? Which they had to incorporate the inventory required to do that. And from that, they had to be willing to pay the cost to get the business to grow to the next level. So there are 2 factors of failure in e-commerce. You ready for this?
Yeah.
First one is failure to start. Failure to start at all. And you, as a coach, or anybody listening to this as a coach, knows that anybody's weight loss doesn't start unless they actually get off the couch. Exactly. So if they fail to start, they fail the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is having the energy to keep going, along with the intention and the money required to keep it going. That might be, I need to buy better shorts. I've got to buy some supplements. I got to invest in some software to help me track my weight loss. On the physical product world, it is, I need to pay up for inventory. The second thing is, when my business starts to go, when I start to have what's called a going concern, a business that's actually driving revenue, I have to capitalize that revenue. And when I capitalize through more inventory and more marketing, then I'm starting to see every 90 days what's called a cash flow plan. Okay. How much money's coming in, how much money I'm making, how much money's going out, how much profit I have. From there, it's how big do I want to grow this business? It's how fast do I want to capitalize on that? Am I okay with just a 6-figure business a year? Do I want to make 6 figures a year? Do I want a 7-figure, an 8-figure business? When you know the numbers and you're in the business at that point running it, it'll be very clear to you how much inventory, money, and time and energy and attention you need to put into making this go. And then it's up to you for that risk to reward ratio, right? It's up to you to deploy that capital. And it may be $250,000, it may be $500,000, it may be $1 million to get you to those life goals you want to go after. But it'll be a roadmap that you now clearly understand as a business owner.
So what's interesting here is, and maybe it's obviously would be my ignorance. I would think that that you're not going to put in a ton of time as opposed to quote unquote a ton of money if you want to get to.
The time actually degrades because the systems of automations and infrastructures are already out there. And that has evolved even in the last few years to be easier and greater than it was 5 and 12 years ago.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten so much more easier and there's so much more people online. Here's the fact. In 2020, there were 10 years of growth in the first 3 months of 2020 after that, everybody moved online, right? Mobile purchases surpassed desktop purchase during that time for the first time since they came online. More phones are now purchasing online than desktops. Most all of Facebook is now mobile traffic. Instagram is majority mobile traffic. TikTok is all mobile traffic, meaning that people are now buying, okay, and there's no friction to them buying anywhere, any place, anytime now, which has speeded up the amount of transaction and the amount of growth that is occurring. And after 2020, so many new people came on. There was an event in the e-commerce world called mass adoption that occurred. And any vertical in any industry, there's early adopters. Okay, there's early inside guys. Well, hey man, crypto's going to be amazing. You got to get in. And it's like everybody's like, you're crazy. That's insane. Nobody wants in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, right.
And then they're going to be somewhere up the line around 35K in Bitcoin. Everybody's like, well, maybe that guy wasn't so crazy after all.
Yeah.
And then by the time mass adoption starts to kick in and it goes past 80 and 100,000, and this is just a cryptocurrency because this is real time, right? Right? People are like, holy crap, I missed out. And this is when mass adoption kicks in. It doesn't kick in at the 35. It kicks in at the 80 and 100 because then the FOMO or fear of missing out kicks in. And that's when a mass adoption curve happens. And this is every industry everywhere in some place, some way, some date has had one of these events that occurred. E-commerce had a mass adoption curve happen in 2020. And from that point forward, what we're now seeing, and this is actually a report recently by Bank of America, Forrester Research, and the Department of Commerce, is talking about a wealth transfer of over $21 trillion from the offline retail world, all coming back online. Not really back online, it's all coming online. And it was catalyst was from that 2020 event. And with that, like it or not, as you see certain companies going bankrupt, okay, like Joann's Fabrics and others most recently, no one can buy from those stores. And since they were such large stores, a lot of what they offered is only available online now.
Right.
So those customers are being forced to go online to get that product. And as more of those kinds of retail stores collapse, Macy's is now in bankruptcy. As of yesterday, 23andMe, if you got data, if you did that, you better get your data out of it. I don't know what to tell you about all that. But, that's not on board anymore. You're seeing all that wealth transfer actually occur. So I'm extremely bullish as we see things changing dramatically, as we see this occurring, as inflation has actually dropped. And opportunities for growth are coming to America in the trillions of dollars of infrastructure and trillions of dollars of investment that's happening and being committed right now. I'm extremely bullish in 2025 as we're pulling back this rubber band that with all of this growth, that wealth transfer is happening in the next couple of years. And we're moving very hard and fast into brands and more product capitalization as these things occur. And this catalyst happens, more and more people are buying. Sales are up now in the first quarter, greater than they have been in the last 5 years, if you can believe that, because everybody's thinking all this negative scarcity, there's no money, there's all these problems, whatever. But in actuality, they're buying more now ever than they were buying this time in the last 5 years in the first quarter of 2025.
That is interesting. Yeah, I can't imagine it going anywhere but up. I mean,
up.
It just because even like the people who were hesitant about, doing anything online, it's just
it's changing. It is changing if you like it or not. So you can either be a consumer and maybe a victim of it, hopefully not, or you can say, look, I want to take advantage of this. I want to see how to get in position. I want to be on the opportunity side of this. And, that's a lot of different places in the world and online to do that. I just chose years ago to get into the physical product component because I knew I wanted to own both sides of it. I wanted the digital. And for me, I wanted to see the physical side of it, right? And I wanted to see the actual product because I wanted to provide that value to a customer because I believed in the value of the product. And I see that even more and more now as a way to complete the cycle with ethics, and integrity to have an actual product delivered for what they paid for. And so with that, I'm bullish this year, moving a lot of money into products and brands and bringing along partners and other, aspiring entrepreneurs and existing businesses and even acquiring companies now through our private equity group in the 5 to 15 million plus in revenue to get those companies under our wing to take advantage of what I believe is going to be a huge slingshot when that rubber band snaps.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we could go into so many things. I had a list of questions.
Rabbit holes everywhere, dude. Oh, is that all?
You didn't get any of them?
Well, I'll shut up. I won't answer so long-winded. I'll go faster. Hit it.
No.
Hit it faster. I'll go quicker.
No. That just shows that you're a great guest, and you had, opened my eyes, and I'm sure the audience as well's eyes to possibilities that just. My questions were not going to do you justice. Just so
that's not true. You're doing amazing, dude. I think with the coaching in this space, I'm a coach, and I'm actually getting out of it this year to focus on the physical product brands and stuff. And there's just a short time here where I'm going to take on a few more people because I have all the operators that I need. I don't have any employees. I got rid of them all in the past, and what I did was I trained people up, kind of like you guys train people up. To build stuff into themselves, build their confidence, build their own business as a part of that, get them into a position to help themselves so they can help others. And with that and their going concerns now, they work with us in product partnerships. They work with us in operations. They partner with us in businesses we acquire. So I don't have any employees. I'm now working business to business owner across other businesses. And, you can't buy that loyalty because these people want to be involved. They love the brand. They've become successful with operations with us and partnering and building these companies. And now we're building more and doing more together in that capacity, and makes it easier. And the loyalty to their business is what they have. And then they sign off some of that and work with Voltage on other fun things to do together. And that kept me out of having an employees while getting the economies of scale. And with that, we have 35 brands now.
Wow, that's unbelievable. That is really, really great. I guess, wow. I don't even know how to rap, to be honest. I got I don't want to let you go.
We'll wrap on this. How about I give you something for free? Like I believe there's a voltagedm.com/free book. I think you've got a code for my team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did.
What was that code?
I want to have to put in the show notes because I think it said health coach, but I will make sure in my intro I'll correct it.
Yeah. In the notes, show notes, guys, there's a free copy, 10 free copies of the book in the digital format. There's a paperback version if you want to grab it and you're more tactile. I'm kind of tactile myself, but that's the strategy guide. Just be very clear. It's not a tactical guide. It is a strategy guide for many of the things I talked about today, including 15 other guests that did chapters each with me on the different areas of growth and wealth and products and marketing and finances and wealth preservation and wealth growing. It's all in the strategy of our e-commerce driven playbook, and it is within that book, and it will give you a complete understanding of how to build a strategy around an omni-channel, a physical private label brand, and all the resources you can check out in there to kind of help you get your mind wrapped around that. And from there, if you want to chat more, we can chat more.
That's awesome. Really appreciate that. I know that they're going to take advantage of that. Listen, Neil, you've been fantastic. What can I say? Thanks for opening our eyes to avenue that at least I wasn't familiar with to the extent that you've displayed it today. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of the day and keep doing all the great stuff you're doing.
Thanks for having me on, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Wait,
yes.
How do we get in touch with you?
Voltagedm.com, the free book thing, or go check out some of the workshop resources. I've got training on there. The mentor, I have Kevin Harrington, who wrote the foreword for my book, As Seen on TV guy, and the original Shark Tank guy. We do a presentation, is what we call our As Seen on TV strategy, where you guys can check out more details about how we work and who applies or can apply to work with us and launch one of these businesses together. All that information is at voltagedm.com, voltagedigitalmarketing.com.
You have any socials?
All the socials, brother. I got a short last name. It is Twa, as you can see, or maybe you didn't know. I'm not a small Asian dude, like I get mistaken for many times on the internet. You can search my last name. You can search for the word voltage. You'll find me on all the socials.
All right, fantastic. Again, appreciate you jumping on the show, sharing all your knowledge today. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, sir.
Hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Health Coach Academy podcast. If you did, jump over to iTunes and leave a rating and or review. It goes a long way in helping get this message out to our fellow health coaches and people in our industry. Also, if you can, jump over to my website, omarcumberbatch.com, where I give out a lot of freebies, including my 5-day sugar challenge for people who are having issues with sugar. And also for health coaches, I have the book, Hidden. It's the 6 not so obvious ways to get your clients unstuck. Have a great day.